Thank you very much for joining us on the news tonight. I am Oyewumi Ayinigbere. Medical students in Nigeria have been charged to show more interest in oncology to help increase health advocacy for the benefits of the country. Wife of Ondo State Governor Betty Anyanwu Akeredolu, while delivering a lecture during the 8th Regional Convention of Nigerian Medical Students Association Southwest Region held at Afe Babalola University at Ekiti, posited that nothing can be achieved in the cancer space if Nigeria's future healthcare providers are not interested in cancer care. Government House correspondent Omori Olahungbiji reports that the governor's wife was received by the founder of the institution, Chief Afe Babalola.
One key passion of the wife of Ondo State Governor, Mrs. Betty Anyanwu Akeredolu, is the area of health, especially when it directly affects women and the girl child.
Thank you very much.
Delivering a paper on revitalizing the role of medical students in the advocacy of breast cancer, the governor's wife enumerated current accounts of breast cancer in the world, saying more than 2 million women are affected and not less than 685,000 deaths are recorded annually. She said Nigeria has confirmed 26,000 new cases of breast cancer with about 11,500 deaths each year. According to her, breast cancer can be managed, but lamented that population-based cancer registries are almost non-existent in Nigeria, making it quite difficult to understand the cancer needs in the country. She tasked the federal government to commence routine-based campaign to raise awareness on any form of cancer, noting that the only awareness currently in Nigeria is organized by non-government organizations working around cancer.
In some studies we have conducted, we found out that many people might have heard about breast cancer, or breast cancer awareness, but they hardly knew what the risk factors are. So we need to pay attention in that regard, and medical students can effectively do that.
Mrs. Anyanwu Akeredolu also pledged the readiness of her NGO, BRECAN, to partner medical students in the country on awareness advocacy for the purpose of stemming increase of cancer in Nigeria, where the treatment is very expensive for common man.
There is very little we can achieve in cancer space if our future health providers are not interested in cancer care. However, I'm very optimistic that the narrative has begun to change following my invitation to this annual convention.
The founder of the institution, Afe Babalola, is senior advocate of Nigeria, who was represented by the Deputy Vice Chancellor Administration, Professor Sylvester Ojo, and the Provost College of Medicine and Health Sciences, Dr. Olaofe Ogundipe, as well as the keynote speaker, Dr. Olalekon Olatishe of Zenith Medical Center, Abuja, and joined the participants to find a lasting solution to the challenges of health-related issues in the country. Southwest Regional Coordinator of the association, Oluwakoyinsola Falana, who confirmed how terrible the health situation is in the country, solicited the collective efforts in fighting the battle.
The raising of funds becomes one of the solutions that must be put in place to combat this, because enlightenment and willingness to comply with treatment will account for nothing if financial assistance is not available. Fundraising programs, social media campaigns, national health programs, and partnerships with non-governmental organizations should be put in place to ensure this is achieved.
High point of the event was the presentation of award for notable citizens who have made indelible marks in the area of health and society, including Mrs. Betty Anyanwu Akeredolu. Earlier, the governor's wife was received by Chief Afe Babalola in his office, where she was presented a book, after which she was conducted around the health facility of the institution. Omori Olahungbiji, Osrc News.
Ondo State House of Assembly has reiterated its commitment to giving legislative backing to the State Ministry of Water Resources, Public Sanitation and Hygiene in providing portable and accessible water supply to people of the state. The Speaker, Mr. Bamidele Oleyalogun, gave the assurance when he led all the members on a walking visit to the ministry. House of Assembly correspondent Omoshiliola Adesoye Ajayi now completes the story.
In the last 5 years, the people of Ondo State have accessed potable water through Kamumiaketi Water Scheme and other government policies. in a bid to sustain the initiative, which according to findings have increased people's access to potable water from 4% to over 80%. Members of the House Committee on Water Resources, led by the Speaker, Mr. Bamidele Oleyelogun, visited the ministry in charge of provision of water and public hygiene. Mr. Oleyelogun, who commended Governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu for his Kamomi Aketu Water Initiative, assured of the 9th Assembly's support to fast-track its legislative process towards facilitating adequate provision of potable water supply to the communities in the state.
Add more fertilizer to the ground so that we can have a very good outcome. I'm promising you by the grace of God, any area that you think we can assist in time of maybe you bring a bill that will enhance productivity under your jurisdiction, please do so, and we are ready to assist you.
The Chairman, House Committee on Water Resources, Mr. Jamiu Maito, appreciated the effort of the ministry in its quest towards the provision of water to the people at the grassroots.
Everything you do across the state is for the progress of the government and to enhance our performance in the election period. And it has started as point of campaign for us, and it has helped a lot.
Other members of the committee appealed to the ministry to ensure that more efforts are geared towards ending open defecation in the state. Earlier, the Commissioner for Water Resources, Sanitation and Public Hygiene, Mr. Fatai Olotu, informed that more than 2,000 boreholes have been rehabilitated in 1,265 communities, while 133 new borehole facilities have also been provided across the state through the launch of Kamomi Akiti Water Scheme, and emphasized that the program has added value to the state both locally and at the national level.
The ministry is now resting on the scores. So particularly with the water corporation, all machineries have been put in place that this project is completed under this administration. So and not only that, we are ensuring that once completed, it will be a sustainable project, in the sense that people who would drive the project for the next 35 years are being put in place.
The Commissioner, while reiterating the ministry's continued campaign against open defecation in the state, thanked the House for its support in achieving the feat and sought more in driving the sector to the next level. Omoshiliola Adesoye Ajayi, Osrc News.
Ahead of the 2023 budget presentation, the federal government has insisted that petroleum subsidy would remain in place until mid-2023. In addition, the government will borrow over 11 trillion naira and sell national assets to finance budget deficit next year. According to the Minister of Finance, Zainab Ahmed, the federal government is proposing an aggregate expenditure of 19.76 trillion naira for the 2023 financial year, of a 15.37% increase from the amount earmarked in the 2022 budget. Zainab Ahmed said the federal government was projecting the total revenue of 8.46 trillion naira, out of which 1.9 trillion naira is expected to come from oil-related resources, while the remaining is to come from non-oil sources. You're still watching Osrc News at 7. After the break, we'll bring you more stories. Please stay with us.
Every day, life presents hopes, dreams, and challenges. Challenges that can become successes with a little help. Because a little help can empower you to go from despair to celebration. A little help can keep you going until the race is won. A little help can turn bundles of anxiety into a bundle of joy. And with Glow Data, you get much more than just a little help. You get the biggest data deals in town to make every day glow with small wins and big wins. Dial *777# to select your Glow Data plan.
glad to have you back. You can watch us live on our website www.osrc.ng or follow us on Facebook OSRC TV Ondo, and on YouTube you can subscribe to our channel OSRC TV Ondo. OSRC Media Group will continue to propagate cultures and festivals of various communities and help transmit to the younger generation and those yet unborn. Chairman of the media group, Mr. Kunle Adebayo, while playing host to the 2022 Ulefuta Committee, assured of the station's readiness to partner Akure community for the success of the annual festival. Omorion Lahungbeji reports.
Ulefuta Festival is an annual cultural event which indicates the resting period of the Deji of Akure. The aged-long festival, which has been in existence for over 5 centuries, also serves as an avenue for the monarch to seek the face of the gods for the development of the land and prosperity of its residents. To this end, the committee for the 2022 Ulefuta Festival visited OSRC Media Group at Oritsa Obele to intimate the management of the activities lined up for this year's event. The chairman of the committee and Olu of Agolisa Tuntun, Adekunle Ajanaku, who noted the interest of the media group in the past Ulefuta festivals, appreciated the management for its support in propagating the culture of the land. While enough, some activities lined up to include lecture, prayers, empowerment, among others, the chairman solicited more support of the media group to make this year's festival a memorable one.
Ulefuta is not in any way idolatry. It is not in any way associated with idol worship. It is not in any way fetish. It is not in any way associated with any form of darkness. Rather, it is Akure highest traditional prayer and thanksgiving period, during which the Deji goes into celebration for 7 days. Come out after 7 days in the holy, clean and pious state. We solicit your support. Is to give Ulefuta a bit of continuity after the festival itself.
Also speaking, Mrs. Funke Fadamsi informed that women would not be left out in the scheme of things during the celebration.
The way our children dresses these days are so terrible. We need to talk to our mothers so that we know how to take care of our children in that aspect.
Responding, the chairman of the media group, Mr. Kunle Adebayo, who was represented by the Director of Finance and Administration, Television, Mr. Oluwole Oluwafemi, assured the station's continued support to ensure that the festival is successful.
OSRC is one of the key partners of Ulefuta Festival. We will not derail from that. And this year's move will also not be different. And by the grace of God, the chairman has given assurance that we give adequate coverage as we've always been doing. But if there are other things that we need to do outside that, I'm sure we will also liaise with we have our program director here, and then we have the marketing director here. So I'm sure when you liaise with them or they liaise with you, you'll be able to get it.
This year's Ulefuta Festival will come up between the 28th of September and the 8th of October. Omoriola Hungbeji, OSRC News.
The Academic Staff Union of Universities says the purpose of its strike is to save public universities. The union announced an extension of its 6-month-long strike after its National Executive Council meeting met on Sunday in Abuja. As the President, Professor Emmanuel Shodeke, confirmed that its NEC had resolved to transmute the rollover strike to a comprehensive total and indefinite strike beginning from yesterday. Meanwhile, there are indications that despite the insistence of the ASU to continue its lingering strike, the federal government is set to reopen its short universities. According to sources in the Federal Ministry of Education, the academic staff are not the only set of workers in the university system, and since non-academic staff are ready to go back to work, the universities should not longer be short. This is just as a meeting of pro-chancellors and vice-chancellors of federal universities has been slated to next Tuesday at the National Universities Commission NUC complex, Abuja. Pro-chancellors and vice-chancellors are to meet with the Minister of Education, Malam Adamu. And President Muhammadu Buhari has held a closed-door meeting with governors of the All Progressives Congress APC at the Presidential Villa in Abuja. Chairman of the Progressives Governors Forum and Kebbi State's Governor Abubakar Bagudu led his colleagues to Osrc to meet Buhari. The meeting lasted about 30 minutes, after which the governors in attendance later met with the Vice President Yemi Oshibajo. The Federal High Court in Abuja has fixed October 19, 20 and 21st as trial dates for the embattled Deputy Commissioner of Police, Abba Kyari, and 4 others. Justice Emeka Nwete fixed the trial dates in today's ruling in the nation's capital. He equally declined to grant bail to suspended Deputy Commissioner of Police Abba Kyari and 4 others who are being prosecuted by the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, on allegations bordering on a cocaine deal. Ruling on the bail application, Justice Nwete said the applicant failed to present sufficient materials and evidence to warrant the granting of the fresh application. In Jigawa State, the death toll from the floods has risen to 51 as residents continue to recover from the havoc wreaked by the menace. According to Sani Yusuf, the Executive Secretary of Jigawa State Emergency Management Agency, SEMA, 2,051 people have been displaced in Kanaya village in Dutse, the state capital. Yusuf said Jigawa State has forwarded a report to the federal government as the problem is beyond its capacity. He added that more towns are becoming flooded and multiple bridges have collapsed completely. 12 teams working in Nigeria and 16 other countries are to benefit from an initial 5.075 billion naira in direct research funds to better understand how to combat and how to build stronger information systems while increasing COVID-19 vaccination rates. The Social Science Research Council (SSRC) had so far provided 7.175 billion naira through the Mercury project enabled by the Rockefeller Foundation, Robert Wood Johnson Foundation, and the Alfred P. Sloan Foundation. In a statement, SSRC said it's supporting a first cohort of social and behavioral scientists from around the world to generate much-needed new research on locally tailored solutions. Following the characterization of inaccurate health information, SSRC has issued a call for proposals to counter the problem and has received nearly 200 submissions from around the world. Restructuring Nigeria has again been played up towards addressing insecurity in the country. This was advocated at the public lecture and awards presentation organized by Chronicle magazine to mark 9th anniversary in Akure, the Ondo State capital. The magazine, since inception, has saddled itself with the duty of bridging the gap between government and the governed in its reportage. Joy Pius was at the event and our reports.
Chronicle Magazine Public Lecture and Awards is an annual event organized in recognition of distinguished personalities who have impacted the society positively and also an avenue to discuss issues craving for attention in Nigeria. Chairman on the occasion, Dr. Thomas Wilson Ikubisi lauded the organizers, charging the awardees to continue impacting society.
I want to encourage you that what you are doing in your vocation that made the publishers of Chronicle magazine to recognize you and to give you this award, please do not relent. There are many people in your field before you are choosing to be awarded tonight. So I want to encourage you, please don't relent.
continue to do more.
Delivering a lecture on insecurity, a threat to human existence and economic development in Nigeria, the guest lecturer, Mr. Eni Akinshola, noted that every facet of the nation has been affected by insecurity, stressing the need for restructuring as the way out of the protracted crisis.
Insecurity is a threat, either we like it or not, to human existence, and it's a threat to development, either economic, either political, either social, either infrastructural, either industrial. So insecurity is a threat to development in all parameters. If we do not redefine the structure of this country, so that there will be laws for ownership of and ability of citizens in this country, would be missing it from day one.
For the publisher, Mr. Olasheni Oyeshusi, the event is a way of contributing to societal growth.
The Chronicle 9 years down the line, as I said, our undiluted information dissemination mandate, we also act as framework for feedbacks from government about people's ideas and aspirations and the grassroots. Therefore, we very close to the people and the grassroots. Across Nigeria and Oyo State in particular, we have a real opportunity of getting news and information on all sectors of the society.
Honored at this year's anniversary public lecture and award program of the Chronicle magazine are 16 eminent individuals, including a staff of Osrc Media Group and Chairman Ratau in Ondo State, Mr. Kayode Olorunfemi, for their numerous contributions to societal development.
I see it as a bait for me to work and not relent my efforts. Because for people to recognize you are working, it gives you more energy and it gives you more power to be able to prove to the public that you can do better.
I want to say that this award is not just for me, but for the entire forestry family of Ondo State.
The event climaxed with the unveiling and presentation of a special publication of the Chronicle magazine. Joy Pius, Osrc News.
And now to the foreign scene. Iraq's nationwide curfew imposed by the army is now in force. The decision came after supporters of the influential Shiite leader Musrida al-Sadr stormed the presidential palace in Baghdad. At least 9 people have been killed and dozens injured during the violence. Akitunde Akishimola has an update on the Iraqi Uprising.
A day of political drama and violence after Iraq's powerful Shiite leader Muqtada al-Sadr announced his withdrawal from politics. His supporters broke into the presidential palace in Baghdad's fortified green zone, which houses the Prime Minister's office. Many even taken to the palace pool.
Our demands are to dissolve parliament and to hold the corrupt to account. And we say, my master, Muqtada al-Sadr, their pride is under your feet, and we will sacrifice for you. Victory is ours.
Caretaker Prime Minister Muqtada al-Kami halted cabinet sessions until further notice. But Iraq's political life was already in limbo. There has been deadlock for almost a year since Muqtada al-Sadr's party won the largest share of seats in election last October, but it wasn't enough to secure a majority, and Sadr hasn't been able to form a government of his choosing. He told his MPs to resign in June, and his supporters have been protesting since July. Some even briefly occupied parliament. There were new elections without the participation of Iran-based groups.
This is an Iraqi revolution. Iraq should be returned to its people.
This is not the first time Sadr has announced his retirement from politics, and many have dismissed it as a bluff to gain leverage over his rivals. Already, several protesters have been killed or injured, and it's feared Sadr's latest move could lead to yet more instability. Akintunde Akinshimola, for Osrc News.
And now to sport. A one-time sports presenter on Ondo State Radio Vision Corporation, Ayodeji Adigbinro, has officially thrown his hat into the race for the membership of Nigerian Football Federation, NFF. Adigbinro beats the deadline for the purchase of the firm by picking it up for the sum of 300,000 naira as set by the NFF Electoral Committee. A graduate of Federal University of Technology, Akure, and the London Metropolitan University, Ayodeji Adigbinro said his decision to vie for a seat on the board of NFF is born out of the need to support a positive change in the way football is run in Nigeria. The election into the board of the Nigerian Football Federation will come up on the 30th of next month in Benin City. And with that story, we conclude the news at 7, but before we go, a quick look at the top stories. We told you in the news that Ondo State House of Assembly has advocated better accessibility to potable water for public use. The Speaker, Mr. Bamidele Oleyalogun, stated this during a walking visit to the State Ministry of Water Resources, Public Sanitation and Hygiene in Akure. Osrc Media Group has reiterated its commitment to propagating cultures and festivals of various communities. Flood has claimed 51 lives and rendered many homeless in Jigawa State. And from the foreign scene, protesters in Iraq have stormed the presidential palace in Baghdad. And that's the news tonight. Thank you very much for your time. Good evening.